Hi, I am Dr. Felice Gersh, your integrative OBGYN physician, here today to continue the dialogue on menopause, the story that every woman must write for herself, because every woman will deal with menopause when she gets to that special age near, just below, just above age 50, except for a few who actually will go into menopause a little bit earlier, sometimes even earlier than we would ever want, say below the age of 45. Like myself, I actually, sad for me, but I learned how to deal with it, which I want to show you what to do when you hit menopause if you haven't, and what to do if you're already in it, because I had to deal with menopause at the age of only 43. So, first, for those of you who are new to my show, I am not very common. I am board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology, and also board certified in the newer field of integrative medicine. That means when I deal with women's health issues, I use a very enlarged therapeutic toolbox. I incorporate all types of evidence-based therapeutics to help all of my patients to optimize their health so they can optimize the quality of their life. And when we're dealing with menopause, we want to optimize what we call healthy longevity, living every day of your life, which we hope will be very long, but to the hilt. Every day should be a high quality day that you can accomplish everything you set out for yourself. So there'll be no barriers that are placed in front of you that are health barriers. I can't help the other barriers, but definitely I was one of the early women's libbers, so I'm definitely a feminist. So the barriers in terms of sexual discrimination, which we can talk about another day, I have worked very hard to take those barriers down. Now I'm working with you to take down any health barriers so that you can fulfill your destiny and live your dreams. So last time I talked about menopause, like what it is and why it matters in every woman's life. It's not just about the end of menstrual cycles, it's about the end of ovarian functioning in terms of ovulation, and therefore producing those vital hormones, estradiol, the type of estrogen that the ovary makes, and progesterone. These hormones work together in a beautiful synchrony to help the metabolism, the metabolic functions of the body to work optimally. Well, menopause can be delayed sometimes a little bit by eating more vegetables, by working on stress, by lowering exposures to environmental pollution and toxicants. But no matter how hard we work, we can't meditate our way out of menopause, we can't exercise our way out. No vegetable is going to prevent menopause. It's our destiny as women that we will deal with menopause and all of its ramifications. So let's think about life the way I think of it. I love to come up with analogies. It helps me to sort of understand things better, and I hope it helps you as well. I see life as a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. Now, I don't know about you if you've ever owned a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, but I have, and every time I take it out, I find another piece or two missing. I don't know why this is. I look under the sofa, I look under the cushions, and somehow, as time passes, these little pieces of the puzzle are missing. So when you put it together and you find suddenly that there are some pieces missing, you can still see what the puzzle's picture would be and what it is, but the more puzzle pieces that disappear, the more difficult it is to actually see the real picture. So I see life as this 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and the 400 center pieces of this puzzle are the hormones. The hormones make up the core center 400 pieces, but surrounding these 400 pieces are another 600 pieces, and they make up all the rest of what contributes to your health status. That's all the contribution of lifestyle, which we're going to talk about. So if we're going to optimize our health, once our ovaries stop producing estrogen and progesterone, what we need to do is to try to keep as many of these puzzle pieces in their proper place so we can see the total picture of health. We can't just forget the 400 centerpieces of hormones. That would not do. Nor can we forget the 600 pieces that incorporate the lifestyle part of this puzzle. So let's talk about the center 400 pieces. If we're going to achieve our destiny and live our life to the fullest, we need to have as many of those 400 pieces working together in that beautiful puzzle. So this incorporates all of the different hormones, not just estrogen, not just progesterone, but others like testosterone, thyroid hormones, T3, T4, cortisol, aldosterone. There are so many of these hormones, and also things like growth hormone, oxytocin, hormones you may not really think about very much. All of these hormones have an amazing interplay. And one of my new favorite hormones, melatonin, which actually is very, very involved in so many aspects of health. The more I learn about melatonin, the more I want it, and I don't want to lose it. And it's another hormone that declines also with age and is very key to healthy longevity. Well, it's the ovaries that really are key to sort of managing many of these other hormones. For example, let me give you a piece of information you may not have heard before. So many women after menopause have textbook symptoms sounding like hypothyroidism, low thyroid. But when they have their thyroid hormones tested, the doctor says, your thyroid hormones are perfectly fine. So whatever your problem is, it's not your thyroid. Well, it could be your thyroid, even when those hormones are in the reference range. That's because estrogen, in the form of estradiol, the ovarian produced estrogen, actually helps to keep the receptors for thyroid optimally functioning. When you have the peak of estradiol just prior to ovulation during the menstrual cycle, it upregulates the thyroid receptors, or it makes them more open, more receptive to the thyroid hormone coming in and then doing its job. So it's not just about having a hormone, it's about the functioning of its receptor. And it turns out that estradiol actually helps not just the thyroid receptors to work optimally, but also the testosterone receptors to work optimally. So even if you have okay levels of testosterone, we're going to talk about that another time, but I can just tell you right now that the reduction in testosterone with aging in women is separate from menopause. It tends to go down by age 40. Testosterone in the average woman is about half what it was when she was 20. And that's nature's way, but doesn't mean we like it. Natural doesn't always mean optimal desirability for us and for the quality of our life. So it turns out, though, whatever testosterone you have in your body when you go through menopause, it's not going to work as well when you don't have as much estradiol being produced, because estrogen, and I'm going to interchange like estrogen, estradiol, because estrogen from the ovaries is estradiol. So estrogen actually opens up or upregulates the testosterone receptors as well. That's why it never makes sense in a menopausal woman to only give testosterone, because it's a team. You can't play baseball and just put a left fielder on the field or just a pitcher. You need the whole team. And that's really important as a takeaway message, that you need to have all of these hormones working with their beautiful synergy. But there's always the leader of every team, right? So we know on a football team, I'm not sure if everybody agrees, but I'll say the quarterback. And when it comes to hormones, it's estradiol. estrogen from the ovaries. So let's talk about giving hormones. Once you understand the importance of estrogen, how it manages all of the metabolic functions of the body, it's like the hormonal glue that keeps everything working in synchrony and in a perfect harmony. So how are we going to give estrogen? Well, I am a big fan of hormone therapy in the menopausal years because our bodies need it. It is what it is. We lose our ovarian production, but that doesn't mean it's good for us. If some alien from another planet came and had a special ray gun that could actually evaporate our thyroid glands, and suddenly everyone woke up because this alien went around and zapped everyone's thyroid gland during the night, and we all woke up and we didn't have thyroid function any longer. Our thyroid glands had been zapped. We wouldn't say, well, that's okay, we can just meditate more or exercise more, or why don't we just take a bunch of antidepressants or something like that. No, we would say, I think we all better get on thyroid hormone because we need it, because we don't have a thyroid gland that's functioning any longer. And then we would feel better. Well, just because our ovaries stop making these hormones doesn't mean it's okay for our health. I know it's natural, I know it's inevitable, but it doesn't mean it's good for us, because estrogen maintains the function of every organ system in the body. Nature took away a vital hormone, so I like to give it back. And by the way, there are organizations like the North American Menopause Society that now state in their policy position that you can give hormones indefinitely through the entire life of a woman for the following three purposes: to treat the symptoms of menopause, like night sweats and hot flashes and mood swings, and to treat bone, to maintain good bone health. And that's one of the areas that really has gotten a lot of publicity, is the role of estrogen in bone health. But we can magnify that and apply it to virtually every organ system. Just because the bones got the attention, and by the way, I love bones, we should talk about that more another time, but why don't we talk about the heart and the brain and the GI tract and so forth? Estrogen is equally vital to their functionality, just as it is for bone. So the North American Menopause Society endorses the use of estrogen and progesterone forever when women work with their healthcare provider and they agree together, and they're monitored, of course. So as I said, for symptom relief and control, for bone health, and listen to this one, for quality of life. Isn't that what living is all about? Living with quality of life? I know that I don't want to have any disabilities if I can avoid them. I want to be able to walk and jump and dance and sing, even though you don't want to hear me sing. But I want to be able to sing, just don't want to torture you that way by listening to me. And I want to be able to think. I want to be able to do whatever I want. I want to write books. I want to write articles. You have your own dreams. I want you to be able to live your life the way you want it to be for many, many years. And that requires having optimal brain, bone, heart, cardiovascular. Everything has to work well if you're going to really lead an optimal life. That means taking hormones. Bioidentical or human identical hormones is the way to go. And I'm going to talk more in another program about the role and use of bioidentical hormones. This is just an introduction, an overview, because I want you to know where I stand. I am pro-hormone, okay? I don't mince my words. I am pro-hormone because I understand them and I love them. But I only prescribe human identical or bioidentical hormones because that's what our bodies were evolved to have in them. Why would I give some chemical mimic, essentially an endocrine disruptor, when I have the ability to give the real thing? What else? I mentioned the 600 pieces of the puzzle that are the lifestyle. And I'm going to go into each one of these in detail in a separate program. But here, I want to give you an overview. So what are some of the things that are involved in those 600 pieces of lifestyle? Well, you need to get adequate amounts of sleep. You need to eat the right foods. And you need to eat the right foods at the right time, because we have these incredible rhythms, and the circadian rhythm, the 24-hour rotation of Earth on its axis, is built into our genes. So we must acknowledge it and embrace it and eat the way our bodies were designed, which is a big breakfast, maybe a medium lunch, and a small early dinner, with exceptions for special events, of course. And snacking is out. That whole idea that you need to eat every couple of hours to maintain your blood sugar was well-intentioned, but completely wrong. Do not do that. We need to eat to the beat. And the only way our gut microbes, called the microbiome, know what time it is, and our liver clocks, is by timed eating, now called time-restricted eating. And what else? Fitness. Fitness is a vital sign of health. In my office, we actually measure fitness. When's the last time your doctor measured your state of fitness? There's actually a test that was designed by the American College of Sports Medicine, endorsed by the American Medical Association, that looks at your state of fitness, evaluating things like your flexibility, your strength, your endurance, and such, based on and then compared to other people of your gender and age to see where you fit, so that every year you can be reevaluated to see what your fitness status is. We also look at body composition. So important to know. Like, it's not just your weight, it's how you are put together. How much lean body mass do you have? How much muscle? How much bone? How much fluid between your cells and in your cells? These are really important to really understanding your health if you're going to be proactive in maintaining healthy longevity. So we definitely want to look at fitness, and then we want to do an exercise prescription. Yes, we actually write prescriptions for exercise, and we help you as an individual to define what your goals should be based on, your actual fitness status and your goals in life, combined with all the different scientific data that's out there to help you achieve healthy longevity. And if you don't have a doctor like myself who has this in their office, you can work through gyms. There are others out there that can help you to find out what your status is as far as fitness, and help you to design an exercise program that's just right for you, so that you get healthy, strong, and avoid injuries, which of course is so key to having healthy longevity. We don't want you to be injured the first time you try to do a workout. And I know of people, including friends, who have had significant injuries when they went out to do their first run without having any knowledge or preparation in terms of what was really optimal for them. So be careful. That's why we want to make sure that you know what's best for you and that you don't get hurt. So I mentioned sleep, I mentioned nutrition and timed eating, and fitness. What else? Well, there's more. How about lowering your environmental toxicant, the pollution that you're exposed to, or consume by choosing the wrong foods, or get because you put the wrong products on your skin, like personal care products. So we want to lower the toxic load. We don't want to overstrain your liver because it can't get rid of all of that toxic stuff that we accidentally, and not really intentionally, but do put into our own bodies. So we want to look at that. We want to make sure that we get adequate sleep in a dark, cool room. That's when we get this tremendous blood flow to our brains. Women have almost 3 times the incidence of Alzheimer's as men do, and that is a huge problem. If you have problems with thinking, cognitive decline, you're certainly not going to have an optimal life. So we want to make sure that you get proper sleep. It's also the time your immune system does some amazing things to help your body to stay well and heal. We also want to make sure that you have love and purpose in your life. That is so important. Define your goals and work, if you have to, with a life coach. Work with family members. It's so important as you enter this long but last chapter of your life called menopause, that you have true purpose, relationships, and love in your life, which brings up stress. Stress is a huge contributor to health decline. I can tell you about every organ system and the impact that stress has in a negative way. So everybody needs some form of mind-body medicine to help them control stress. In my office, we teach types of guided meditations along with biofeedback, looking at heart rate variability so that we can help people to optimize their control of stress in life. Life is going to come with stress. We cannot help that. It's how we deal with it that we need to control. And resiliency. Resiliency means that we can overcome things that are put in our path and come back and regain our strength and our stamina and our drive to keep going forward so that we have focus and maintain that purpose in life. And there's more, but we're going to really focus on each one of these areas in future programs. But I want you to know, and the takeaway is, menopause is not a good thing for women. It is natural. And I just think we have to stop saying that it's the beginning of some beautiful new era. It is and can be, but only if we intervene in ways to turn it that way. Because left to its own devices, nature has put us menopausal women on a path that leads us to many chronic ills like osteoarthritis, osteoporosis. Remember, over half of women suffer from fractures. Women have high incidence of cardiovascular events. They have high rates of problems with their GI tract, high rates of strokes. These are really huge issues for women. Women have far more joint replacements. Women gain weight and have problems with their mood and sleep. All of this is greater in women. Women statistically live longer than men, but they live longer with many more chronic ailments, more chronic pain, and a lot of suffering, which I want to avoid for everyone out there. So the takeaway is, yes, menopause is inevitable, it's natural, but we need to be proactive to manage menopause by replacing hormones in a physiological way with hormones that were designed to be in our bodies, not alien, pretend human hormones. That is not the way to go. We want to have identical products to the hormones that our ovaries made. We can't replace ovaries, but we can do our best to replace the hormones to at least get us levels that are comparable to the typical levels of a menstrual cycle. And then we need to work with the lifestyle elements, that's 600 pieces of the puzzle that are essential for optimal, healthy longevity for women during the menopausal years. So we're going to actually go through all of these different areas in much more detail. And I hope that you will feel like me, that menopause, though it comes with many challenges, yes, it can be the beginning of an amazing stage of your life, one filled with great accomplishments and great joy, great promise. Yet you can live the life you want, the life you dream to have. But it's not going to happen spontaneously. We need to work hard to overcome the obstacles that menopause presents for us. But we can do this. That's my job, to help you to get healthy longevity during the menopausal years. So join me again soon for the next chapter of Menopause, the story every woman must write. Take care. Stay safe.